Hi friends! Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to share some stationery updates and then I'm going to kick off a series of long-term review videos that I want to do around favorite items in my life. The format of this video series will very likely evolve over time, but we've got to start somewhere, so this is where I'm at today. I actually had an idea of doing something like this a few years ago when I caught myself filming a lot of unboxings because I really like recording my first impressions of things, and I really like remembering what I was thinking and what I was feeling in those moments. But at the same time, I think a lot of value of a review is getting to share an impression after using something for a really long time. And so 1 year just felt like a really nice milestone, and I'll probably do a recap of these in the coming years, and I think it'll be fun to see what I'm still using, what's in my life, and what it's looking like. And it's probably not too dissimilar to the 8 pen questions thing that's been going around, and I've probably got that on my brain, but I just love the idea of returning to something and really getting to have that metric of change staring at you so you can really get a sense of what's different this time last year. How has whatever's in your life grown with you or come along with you in your life? So when I filmed those videos, I wasn't really making stationery videos on YouTube, so I didn't really know what information would be important to take note of. And to be honest, I still don't really know, so keep in mind that this might be more of a feelings-based review rather than a technical specs type of review. So if you're looking for like a really precise review, I'm probably not going to be able to give that to you, but there are plenty of videos on YouTube that address that need, and I think they do a really good job of that. But if a feelings-based review in a chatty style sounds like something you'd be interested in watching, please stick around and share your thoughts on what you thought of this video in the comment section. I would really love to hear what you think. Before we get into the review, I want to invite you to grab something nice to drink and a cozy activity to keep you company while we hang out. So right now I am currently drinking a Tazo, let me see the box, wild sweet orange tea, and it is one of my favorite teas. It's just so bright and I really love this tea, and it's actually, this box is empty, so I'm gonna have to get more of it, but that is what I am drinking right now. I have a couple of quick updates. In one of my last videos, a viewer named Risema, hopefully I pronounced that right, but feel free to correct me in the comments below, asked me how the Cousin compares to the Leuchtturm 1917, and I said I would show the differences if I remembered. So I did remember, and I have one of my old Leuchtturm 1917s. So this was one of my Dear Diary personal journals that I kept for quite a few years. And then here's my Cousin. So I'm just going to take it out of my cover. So I'm just going to move this. So as you can see, the Cousin is quite a bit thicker than the Leuchtturm. So this one is a hardcover. I don't know if the 1917s come in a soft cover, and this is the comparison for the pages. So you can see the ink stain there that ruined my TSL leather cover. So it is quite a bit thicker. They're very similar in size, but it's a little bit wider, and then it's a little bit thicker. So I hope that answers your question. And feel free to let me know if you have any other questions about the size comparisons. And then I thought it might be fun to give you a 30 inks 30 days. So I haven't caught any clips of me doing any more swatches, but I've been keeping up. So this is where we're at so far. I've decided that I'm going to start with swatches of all the bottles of ink that I own. So I don't quite have 30, but I almost do. And who knows, by the end of this month, maybe I will, at the rate that I'm going with inks. So I haven't, these are in no particular order, but this is where I've gotten. And I've made the unfortunate discovery that I need to alternate where the like swatches are, because I'm doing them on every page. So you can see here that Ginger Chicken got a little bit ruined because on the back I did Tuna and Olives, which is another Dominant Industry Wonder Pens collab ink. And unfortunately it bled through the paper, and then it even got onto this page. So I've now started alternating where the swatches are, but it's been really fun. So basically I just use a watercolor brush to make a nice little swatch. These pages are pretty thin, so I did want to be careful about how much ink I was getting on the page, and you can see even when I tried to be careful, I did have a couple of mishaps. And then I just write out the name of the ink, the brand, and then I've just been choosing random quotes. Some of these come from the Bachi chocolates, just keeping it real, and some of them I've just been adding in myself by looking up. So I did Opera Rose, and I thought it'd be fun to do a little quote from the Phantom of the Opera, or a little lyric from the Phantom of the Opera. And I've also been adding the swatches in the month of April, and I've just taken some of my little sticky notes, and I didn't start out this way, but I thought it would be fun to try to keep the color families together just so I could get a comparison. So I did actually map out all of the inks that I own, and it's going to be fun to see this filled out. That's my progress on 30 inks, 30 days. And then I do have some empty spots. I'll probably use some ink samples that I have and fill up these 2 remaining boxes. And I'm having a lot of fun doing this. I think I might do something similar with the samples that I have. I love seeing all the color play out. All right, well, those are all my quick little updates. Let's get into the review. So for a bit of background, I mentioned a few videos ago that using quality products long term is something that I really value a lot. And that was part of the draw for me when I got into fountain pens. So I loved the idea that you could reuse the pen, didn't have to throw it out when you were finished, and that you could buy ink bottles and just fill up the pen using a cartridge, and that they would last a really long time. Like this pen, which wasn't on my radar until my mom found it. This pen was given to her when she was in elementary school, and she used it in high school as well until she switched over to ballpoint pens. So this is a pen from the 1960s. We don't know exactly when, but she finished high school. By 1970, she was already finished high school. So this pen is so special, and honestly, I mean, part of it probably is because she tucked it away for so many years, but it's just in such great condition. And I think it is so cool that these pens can last a really long time. In my last video, I disassembled this entire pen and I cleaned it out, and so I have since inked it up, and I'll share my thoughts on it at a later date because I think I'm still getting used to the pen, but it's definitely a different feel to all of the pens that I have. So it's been very interesting playing around with it, but I have been enjoying it, and I just think it's so cool that this pen is older than me. So I really like the idea that pens could be reused, and I do tend to look for pens that are really durable. And while I realized after watching all of the 8 pen questions videos this year that I have barely scratched the surface of the fountain pen world, I do feel really good about the pens in my collection. And honestly, if you look at my wardrobe, you would be really bored. I wear the same 3 to 5 dresses to work every day of the week, and it's basically my uniform. They're not necessarily super expensive articles of clothing, but they're just plain, and I feel really comfortable rotating between them and not having to think too hard in the morning about what to wear. And also, I personally really like dresses because it means I only have to decide one thing to wear as opposed to multiple things. So I'm very plain in a lot of aspects of my life, and I think that just comes from my need to simplify things because I get overwhelmed really easily. Another category are leather covers, or just leather products in general. So I want to acknowledge that not everyone is going to be comfortable with leather products. I recognize that they are animal products, and that's okay if it's not your thing. I personally really love leather, and I do try to be really intentional about what I buy so that I can continue using it and cherish it for a really long time. And when I started looking for pencil cases for my fountain pens, I came across this Superior Labor pen wallet. I think the official name is the Superior Labor Leather Pen and Wallet Case. I fell in love with it. I watched a few reviews. I read a few blog posts that reviewed the product, and I read the Wonder Pens blog post that talked about how they came up with the idea and how they worked with the Superior Labor to develop this product, and I just got really excited. So when I found out that they were going to be restocking the product last year, I set an event on my calendar, and I think I bought it within like a few minutes of it going live. I was really excited to have a chance to purchase it, and as soon as I got it, there hasn't been a single day that has gone by since I got it last year that I haven't used this pen wallet. And I can honestly say, this is going to be a very biased review, but I can honestly say that I love it even more than I did when I first got it. I'm going to insert some clips of me opening up this package and sharing some of my first impressions. Very excited about this. I actually haven't looked at it yet. This is a collaboration between the Superior Labor and Wonder Pens. It was a pre-order. I have been looking for something to store my growing fountain pen collection, and I was really excited to see if this was available. So, got this cute little keychain. Smells nice. Very cute. Oh wow. So it feels stiffer than my Camel Traveler's Notebook. Slightly, you can see it's different color, a little bit brighter. It feels, it's kind of got this really soft on the inside. I love this gold zipper detail. It's got a few pen slots here, some card slots here, and an extra flap. So let's see. So cute. I think actually, I wonder if I can fit. maybe one of my clips. I love it. Hopefully I will have captured some of the squeaky noise of the leather. When I first pulled this out of the package, it was very stiff, very squeaky. And I think I'm gonna start with some of the specific product specs. So this pen wallet comes in 4 different colors. So there is a black, a light brown, a dark brown, and a natural. I picked the light brown because this is the color that I wanted, and if this pen case stays this color for the rest of its life, I will be thrilled because it is the perfect caramel light brown. I absolutely adore it. As you can see, it is darkening a little bit, so I do wonder over time if it's going to become more of like the dark brown leather case. I guess we'll see. And it has one exterior pocket, so you can see there's nothing on the back, and then there's one exterior pocket where you can fit pens. I believe you can fit a Fields Notes notebook, and right now I have 2 pens using the clips, and they don't go anywhere. So it has a zipper that spans 2 sides, and it opens up like this. And inside there are 3 areas for holding pens. And then there's 3 pockets on the other side. So there's a deep pocket that goes all the way to the bottom. So I think if you wanted to use this as a wallet, you could put bills in here. And then it has 2 card slots. And so there isn't anything in these card slots right now, but you used to have things like these cards with washi tape on them, and I would put them in here like this. So I had that for a while. I also used to put my dot stickers in here. Another thing that you can do is you can put, I've put like clips in here before. I've also put clips on the outside before. It is really nice that you have a few different options. And currently what I have in here is I have my 3 most used pens. So I have my 3 vanishing points. This one is a medium. This one, I swapped the nib. So this is the extra fine that originally came with the Decimo. And then my fine nib is in here right now. So these are the pens that I'm using for work on a regular basis. And then on this side, I have my Apple pencil, and I have my brass Traveler's Company ruler. So sometimes what I'll do is if I want, I'll put an extra pen in this lower pocket, and I especially do that with my Kavekos. So when I've got one of these inked up, I'll usually tuck it into this pocket, and then it just closes really easily like that. I find that really convenient. And then I don't normally have my Kaweco in one of these pen things, just because I have my 3 vanishing points, and these are basically permanently living in these 3 pockets. But if I want to, it's not too bad to do this, but I did have to go ahead and buy a clip. I didn't initially buy clips for any of my Kavecos, but I do have one gold clip that I just alternate between my Kaweco pens depending on which one is inked up. And so what I normally do is I have it clipped on the outside. So in terms of how many pens you can fit, I mean, I guess the idea was to just have 3, but I have been able to fit quite a lot. So let's see. So you can see here, I can actually fit, right now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and if I really wanted to, I could put another fountain pen clipped onto here. Like if I didn't have this Apple pencil here, I could clip this on here and have a few more pens in the back. And something that I learned that helps is with the 3 pens on the inside, I usually tuck these 2 pens in the front in between so it doesn't bulk up too much. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, you can fit like a lot of pens in here. and be creative as long as you have clips. So in terms of the measurements, according to the website, it is 10.5 by 17.5 centimeters. So these are centimeters. Yeah, that's about 17.5 in length, and then 10.5, yeah, I guess in inches, that would be around, just around 4 inches and 6 3/4 of an inch in length. In terms of what it fits, so I've already gone through how many pens I've been able to fit. One thing that I was kind of disappointed when I first got this was it didn't fit my Tombow markers. So you can see here, I mean, I could have measured it or double checked, but honestly, I was so excited to get this pen case that I didn't really look into it. But yeah, it doesn't fit. I mean, I did try for a while to tuck in like one pen that I was using, but because there isn't a clip to secure it, this would fall out really easily. So that is part of the reason why I ended up getting this utility case as well, because sometimes I do use a ton of different markers and the Tombow markers fit inside this. It is a bit of a tight fit even in this situation, but they do fit. So that's one thing. So some markers don't fit, but you know, I have a mild liner and like that would have fit no problem. There was a time when I would tuck like stickers in this large section in the back. Once I got this utility case, which I got later, what I really loved about this setup is this is compact enough that I can actually tuck it into my Superior Labor utility case. And this was my setup for a very long time. So I would have everything I needed in this case, and when I would go anywhere where I thought I might be wanting to write or do some journaling or planning or whatever, I would just bring this case with me, and I would be able to tuck everything inside. So I really like the fact that it fits so well inside. It just makes everything really nice and compact. And it also fits really nicely inside my purse, since it is also considered a wallet. I have been known to tuck this into my purse when I feel like being near my pens at all times, which happens more often than I would like to admit. I thought it'd be interesting to talk about how my thoughts have changed with this after having had it for a year. In terms of the leather, I was worried that it would darken a lot after seeing a few photos online, and you can see that there are some spots where the leather has gotten some darker color, and I don't know, I'm not sure if over time it's going to look like whatever this color is, if that's going to be the whole pen wallet. So I have extremely dry skin, and I think maybe, I guess I just don't have a lot of oils on my hands, so my pen wallet just hasn't really darkened that much. But for something that is being handled on a daily basis, I'm pleasantly surprised that it has really like maintained its color. I mean, I guess the pull has probably darkened the most, which is the thing that I'm really touching every day. So maybe this is more representative of what this will look like over time. What has really changed is the leather has just gotten like so soft over time, and I have gotten a few more Superior Labor products over the year, and like they're, you know, this for example, like I would have thought this would be the same leather. This is very soft, but it's like this is just so much softer. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because I'm handling this more, but it's like, I think it's a different leather. I'm not positive on that, but it feels like this is still very soft, but it just doesn't feel smooth, buttery softness. I love having this in my hand. I love holding it. And even this, like this is a beautiful case. It's so utilitarian. It's so useful. It carries everything I need when it comes to like stationery supplies and things like that, but it just doesn't have the same feel, and I don't know what it is. I really don't, but it's amazing. So the leather has just gotten better and better over time. And the zipper works just as well as it did the day I got it. Like, honestly, it hasn't snagged on anything. Like, I've had so many zippers that eventually get caught on something, and like it's just never had any issues whatsoever. It fits almost every pen that I have. So I don't know if there are other pens out there that are too big. Like, if there's a pen that's a Tombow size, it's obviously not going to fit. But in terms of all the pens that I have in my collection, I have no problem fitting all of them in this pen wallet. As for it being a wallet, so I've never used it as a wallet, so I can't speak to that experience. I currently use my passport size TN as a wallet instead, so can't speak to that. I guess it could be useful. I mean, I don't really use a lot of cash, so I wouldn't find this that useful, and there's no space for you to put coins, so I don't really think I would consider this a good wallet in that sense, but maybe if you were just a card person. In terms of regrets, so I didn't realize when I was purchasing this, and I was in such a frenzy because I had convinced myself that it was going to sell out really quickly, so I didn't realize that the natural leather would patina over time. And I have seen photos of some people's natural leather wallets after several years just looking like beautiful, and had I known about that, I would have been very tempted to choose that one instead. At the time, I think I saw that light brown color. I knew that I wanted this like light brown. So if I had to choose a regret, maybe I would have picked the leather, like the natural leather one. I love the idea of getting to witness your leather age and color with you over time. So I think that really keeps things interesting, which is important for someone like me who gets bored of things very easily. Having said that, I'm nowhere near getting bored of this one. This is my perfect ideal color, so I only hope that it doesn't darken too much over time. So I'd like to just summarize some pros and cons for this. So in terms of the pros, and I did tell you this was going to be a little bit biased, I would say it's very durable. I haven't had a single problem with it. I mean, there are a couple of stains, but those are all from me. I love that it's very compact. I love that it protects my pens. So once you start spending money on these nice pens, I do understand the importance of keeping them separate from each other so they don't bump into each other. And even this Pilot Vanishing Point, there is a dent in this pen, and I noticed it pretty early on in me having it, and I'm pretty sure I did that. I held this in my hand at the store before I bought it, so I'd be very surprised if the pen was already dented when I bought it, which reminds me that I need to take care of these pens, and keeping them separately in this way, I think, is the way to go. I also love that it's handmade by the Superior Labor in Japan. I didn't even really talk about how much I love this brand, the Superior Labor. I think there's a lot of others on YouTube who would speak more intelligently about this brand, but the more I looked into them, the more I fell in love with them as a company. I have a friend who went home to Japan a few years ago and interviewed the owner of the Superior Labor, and he just said that he was just the nicest person and so open and willing to connect with people. So I think knowing that these are manufactured in this one place and they're all like handmade and intentionally really made to last, it speaks to me and it really aligns with my values. So it honestly ruined all other pen cases for me because I have not looked at another pen case since, and I recognize that if you have a larger collection, this is not going to be sufficient for you to store your pens, but it kind of encourages me to keep my collection relatively small because it reminds me like this is really all I need. And I do have the pen roll, which I bought for like overflow pens. Even here, there's not that much room, and I like that because I think it just encourages me to keep my collection relatively small. In terms of cons, I will say that it is expensive. When I bought this, it cost 160 Canadian dollars. It was definitely an investment. And for a pen case that only holds 6, maybe 8, maybe max 10 if you really jam it in there, pens, I recognize that's a lot of money to spend, but I absolutely feel like it's worth it because I don't think I'm ever going to get another pen case again unless I lose this, and I really hope I don't lose it. So it is very expensive, and it's also really difficult to acquire. Ever since I got this, I have kept an eye out, and I think I've only seen them restock this pen wallet 2 more times since then. And I think I got this in April of last year, 2023, and I think it took until, I could be wrong, but I think it took until like February of 2024 before they restocked these pen wallets. So actually, I guess I've only seen them restock it once since I got this. So I don't know how often they were keeping these in stock before then, but they are hard to find. I do know that you can sometimes get these secondhand. So if you are interested in this pen wallet, I would recommend joining a buy-sell trade group. So you can find these, but if you want to buy them new, you can only buy them at Wonder Pens, and they are not constantly in stock. So if you do want this, then I would recommend signing up for an email notification. And if you have the schedule flexibility to drop everything you're doing and buy one of these when the product drops, that's what I would recommend you do. And I'm not going to lie, I was very tempted to get the natural leather pen wallet, but I just don't need another one. So I am sticking with this one, and I'm very happy with my decision. I thought it would be nice to end off this video by sharing some other options to consider if you are looking for a pen case and this one is not available to you, or you're not interested in leather. So if you're okay with leather, I have seen that Galen Leather sells a lot of really nice pen cases, and they look really gorgeous. And an added benefit is they have different sizes. So if you have a larger collection, then you can get a larger pen case to store all of your pens. So I would recommend checking out Galen Leather if you are looking for another leather product. Otherwise, if leather is an issue, I have seen a lot of people using Yuruliku and Rickshaw pen sleeves and cases for housing their pens. So those are another 2 brands that come to mind. But otherwise, I would be curious what you're using to store your pens, because I'm still such a beginner in this world that I haven't really been paying attention to this for a long period of time. So there are probably so many brands out there that I've not been exposed to. So yeah, I'd be curious to know how you're storing them and what you've been finding works for you, because what works for me isn't necessarily going to work for everyone. And there's just so many great options out there from so many independent makers as well, that it would be a disservice to assume that this is the only one out there. It's just happens to be the one for me, and after getting this, I haven't felt that urge to keep on looking. And I think that is a really great thing for me, because I do have a tendency to get really excited about shiny new things, and so it's almost like a game. If I can find something that I like so much that it is going to have that much of an impact on me, that I'm not gonna immediately want to go out and find something else. So those are my thoughts on the Superior Labor leather pen and wallet case. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and also I'd love to know what you think of this being a potential video series. So I have a lot of ideas on different things that I can do these casual reviews on. So yeah, let me know what you think, and if you have any feedback or suggestions for future videos, I would love to hear them in the comments below. If you're still here, thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I appreciate you so much, and I will see you soon in the next video.